Hello, my name is Matias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome you guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Magneto, a fantastic character. And the thing is, when I sat down to reread this particular story, the Magneto War, I was reminded how much I liked Magneto as a full-on villain. Like, I liked the evolution that Magneto had during the early 2000s and in the 2010s. It's great, but full-on villain Magneto, he's really awesome because when he fights against the X-Men, you never know who would come out on top. Most of the time, on quite a few occasions, Magneto straight up obliterates the X-Men. And this always leads to some pretty awesome stories, or at least super entertaining. This is one of the cases that there's actually quite a few issues because this is sort of like a crossover. Well, they're both X-Men series between the X-Men series and the Uncanny X-Men series. So I'm going to put in the description below the issues involved. And this particular story came out in 1999. Also the writers, because there's quite a few writers contributing to the story. But it starts off with X-Men number 85. With this particular story in the Magneto War, we have the return of Mags. Like, for a while, after the Age of Apocalypse, Magneto had disappeared. And you had Joseph running around. It was like a young version of Magneto. No one knew if he was like the real deal or not. But he sort of became part of the X-Men and sort of won over the trust. But the real deal, Magneto, comes back. And actually the first story is a really good story to illustrate the whole ideal of the X-Men. We have this hospital that's on fire. The X-Men are there to help patients escape, especially a group of babies. And the people outside of the hospital are actually giving, and the security forces are actually giving the X-Men a pretty hard time due to the fact that they're mutants. So this whole situation of prejudice of humans against mutants. While we have a situation where we have this building that was flipped upside down, we have this inspector trying to find out what happened, and we have Magneto sort of like make this human, because he doesn't have mutants, talk poorly of mutants or say that he doesn't like mutants. Like, Magneto is like sort of really forcing the conversation because in a way Magneto just wants to validate his point of view that all humans, no matter how good they are, because this inspector seems to be a pretty good guy, no matter how good they are, at the bottom of their heart, they're always going to be prejudiced towards mutants. And this is sort of like going to justify this whole insane plan that Magneto has, putting the whole planet Earth at ransom, using this weird doomsday device to take control of the electromagnetic spectrum of the whole planet. I had issues pronouncing that word. So the thing is, we get that contrast, how the X-Men, even though people are prejudiced towards them, they're willing to help and prove those people wrong, while Magneto wants to force people to say things they don't want to, so they can just validate their point of view. I know a lot of people like Magneto. So we cut to the Magneto War one-shot, where we actually have, that's another interesting thing about the story in this particular time of the X-Men. I'm going to use strong language here, but that Xavier's a dick. A lot of times. Like, you're going to see a couple of times in this particular story arc. Here we have a group of acolytes. Sure if they're pronouncing their name correctly, those followers of Magneto that thought Magneto was like their patron saint. It was like a weird mutant religion where they actually sort of like venerated Magneto, sorry, I said in plural. The thing is, this group of acolytes are being led by Fabian Cortez. Fabian Cortez is always up to no good. I love to hate Fabian Cortez, but what happens is that this group of acolytes, after being defeated, they actually ask for asylum with Xavier, and Xavier actually tells them, no way, I'm not going to take you guys in. And this actually sort of catches the X-Men off guard. It's like, whoa, what? Why are you not allowing these guys to stay with us? Like, they've showed repentance, and Xavier just explains it away, but like, it was sort of a dick move. So we cut to the next issue. We have the X-Men hunting down another splinter group of acolytes, which obviously what happens in this particular story, the acolytes are trying to keep the X-Men busy while Magneto is going to go through his insane plan with his gigantic machine doomsday device. Keep the X-Men distracted so he can do his shenanigans and basically take the whole world for ransom. While we have Joseph, he's in Israel. They're studying him, trying to understand what the hell he is. They discover that he's a clone, and he gets captured. And in this story, actually, we're not going to see the costume. This lady here, her name's Astra. She's like this new villain. Here's Astra with her costume. And she's the one responsible for the creation of Joseph. She has a bone to pick with Magneto. Seemingly, she was part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants back in the day. She was like a forgotten member. And she had a falling out with Mags, and I really don't understand her motivations. Outside of making things miserable for Magneto, creating this clone that was hell-bent on trying to destroy him, that became an amnesiac and couldn't remember his mission. That's why he joined the X-Men. Here's Magneto with that insane doomsday device. So after the X-Men are able to deal with the Alkalites, they go after Magneto. We get this really awesome showdown between the X-Men and Mags. I gotta say, Francis Yu's art is really, really good. I love his art style. So let's get back to the story. So while this is all going down, Magneto is scaring the shit out of the whole planet. In the United Nations, they're discussing what the hell they're going to do. There's this character that's always related to Genosha named Dr. Huxley. And she proposes a really far-fetched plan. I'm not sure if she thought it through too well, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's get back to the X-Men and Magneto. Magneto, we get the showdown between Magneto and the X-Men, and like Magneto's playing for keeps while Joseph is trying to take control of his doomsday machine, and because there's like this gigantic magnetic storm that's probably, I guess, destroyed the whole world, whatever. But the thing is, Joseph decides to sacrifice his life. But the thing is, the most interesting aspect of this story is that United Nations, they were so scared of whatever the hell Magneto was going to do, they gave him a country. Just imagine how many other villains, if they found out about something like this. Like every other weekend, we would have villains with doomsday machines. But in this case, they gave Magneto control over Genosha, Dr. Huxley. It's her idea. That whole time of Magneto in Genosha was actually sort of interesting. There's a whole story arc called Dark Seduction. Really awesome. And actually, the most interesting part of this story really is in these 4 panels. They give the control of the of Genosha, which has like a civil war between humans and mutants, and it's never going to die down. They think Magneto is going to be able to appease this conflict and keep them occupied. Wolverine, who obviously really hates Magneto, like they give him the country, and Wolverine's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to take him down." He's going to step in, claw him, and Xavier blacks him out, takes him out immediately. He doesn't even think it. It's like, I'm wondering what Xavier's logic was, because he actually could have blacked out everyone there and made everyone forget about this whole situation. Magneto didn't have the helmet. Everyone could forget about giving Magneto Genosha or whatever. No, he takes down Wolverine. It's like one of his most loyal X-Men. So I'm going to leave this video here. I'm going to leave all the issues and the writers and artists in the descriptions, because it's like, it would be too complicated to go through each issue. So hope you guys like this video. See you guys next time. Bye.